2026, the 395th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Construction on the nation's biggest infrastructure project can resume after a court ordered the Trump administration to release funding it had withheld to gain leverage over the congressional Democrats from New York. Trump was withholding funds like his father withheld affection. 8 backcountry skiers died and 1 remains missing after an avalanche in the Lake Tahoe area, officials said on Wednesday. The rescue mission is now a recovery mission because the missing skier is presumed dead. According to Miracle Max, presumed dead is a little bit alive. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg took the witness stand in a Los Angeles courtroom Wednesday as part of a closely watched trial accusing social media companies of designing platforms that foster addiction and harm young users. Mark Zuckerberg testified, and a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit challenging the way Buffalo Wild Wings labels one of its most popular menu items, ruling that the chain can continue using the term boneless wings despite arguments that the product isn't actually made from deboned wings. The plaintiff, Illinois resident Amen Halim, was also disappointed to find that Buffalo do not actually have wings like on the sign. This has been a Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for February 19, 2026, the 395th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
I don't know.
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Just done.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Oh. We're not getting coffee here, please. Things are wrong. Oh, I got fun. Yeah. Let's forget about the fun.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wow.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
MindDog is cool. Oh, that's more than cool. You gotta keep up.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Oh,
wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
why would I do that? I'm Tim Cole, that's fine. I don't know how to name that. What the hell? Yes, we have no bananas. We should have bananas. Yes, we have bananas. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Today is the day that GD will be flying out. Oh, no, he's doing a show tonight. I'm sorry. Today is the day he's doing a show in his hometown there, not too far from his house. Funny old farts or farts aren't funny or something. Who cut a funny fart? Something like that. And I have a sense of impending doom. I'm going to, my favorite baseball team. My favorite baseball team. I have to go do a paint party, and I'm not even painting it. I'm assisting, and I'm already panicking about, what am I panicking about? Do you know what I'm panicking about? Equipment and supplies and stuff. And it's not my thing. I don't care. I shouldn't care. I should just but I feel impending doom. Does that make sense? No, of course it makes no sense. Today we're going to have Julia Lindenthal, who is supposed to be on last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, something like that. She didn't have a webcam at that point. I think she's going to have a webcam today. We're talking about sudden grief, losing a close family member at a young age suddenly, and how you deal with that and how you rebound from that. And then in the second hour, how do I say Sarah's last name? Please, it's too hard for me to pronounce names. Sarah Alessandrini. I'm going to practice that. I've been practicing it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I haven't practiced this before. Sarah Alessandrini, who has a docuseries out. What New Yorkers are saying. She's not even in New York. How does she know what New Yorkers are saying? It's about Andrew Cuomo. And from my takeaway is, and listen, I you know me, I don't really do homework. I suck at doing homework. But my big takeaway, my idea about why she made this, it's sort of to rehabilitate Andrew Cuomo. I don't know if she's going to agree with that. She might just say, what did you watch? You didn't watch my thing. A lot of people, if you remember correctly, do you remember correctly? Because I don't. In around COVID time, whatever. COVID time. It's COVID time. It's COVID time. Andrew Cuomo was getting praise from some people and hate from other people, depending on what side of the political aisle you were on. But they were saying he might be presidential, blah, blah, blah. And then, as they were saying he might be presidential, blah, 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 a woman came out and said he sexually harassed her. Now, he was a bachelor governor, not a bad-looking guy, money. And women started coming out. Now, one woman, and then two women, and then 13 women. And before you know it, everybody was, it was like a Me Too against Andrew Cuomo. And then he was forced to resign. And it seemed like there was no, a lot of people made it up. People dropped their lawsuits. As soon as he was no longer presidential, blah, 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 they just said, you know what, that's really not that important. He really didn't, it was no big deal, and just drop it. And so they tried to rehabilitate his political career. Then he ran for mayor last year, kind of, whatever, last November, and lost in a primary, and then ran as an independent and lost the race. So I don't think it worked if she was trying to rehabilitate him. I think people are going to remember the 13 women who came out and said he did. What he did. They weren't saying no, this is the weird. I'm sorry, I'm not communicating well because of the tinfoil hat. That's why. We have a president who rapes children, involved with people who murder children and sacrifice them. Nothing. A guy who put his arm around a woman or told her, "Wow, you look hot in that skirt." He's done. That's it. We can't have that. And it's just very strange to me. But it doesn't seem, and I don't know, she couldn't have made this film. She didn't just slap together a 5-part docuseries after November. So it seems like the thing was the intent. And again, maybe she'll just shoot me down and say, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It seems to me the intent was to try to rehabilitate his political career. Didn't work. And, I didn't hear anything about when he was running in November. I didn't hear anything about, the guy, sleazebag. No, I didn't hear any of that. I heard, at least he's not a commie like Mandami. Commie like Mandami, a commie like Mandami. Anyway, so we'll talk to her in the second hour. And it's a compelling film. It's long, 5-part docuseries, long. And I'm wondering, because she's not in New York, and the people in the films, one of the things I'm wondering is, where did you find these people to talk to? Because, you like that? Where I live here in New York, it's very, it's very Trump country. It's very, they hated Cuomo. Even when other people were saying nice things about him, they hated him. All right. You know what? I'm going to talk about something. Can I talk about something with you folks? I'm going to talk about wine. Let's talk about wine. Can we talk about wine? Do you like wine? high for the winos in the world. How about that? That's a little better. It's a little more wine-esque, right? Am I right about that? Anyway, here you go. Wine Express. WineExpress.com is the thing where you really can't even read the copy because, you know what? The mouse has gone stupid again. How about that? You never saw a stupid mouse before, did you? WineExpress.com is the exclusive wine shop partner of the Wine Enthusiast catalog and website, which have been providing quality wine accessories and storage for 40 years. During that time, they've served millions of satisfied customers and built a loyal following of avid wine lovers. I love that avid wine. Don't you love avid wine? It's only natural for them. It's only natural. It's not unusual, but it's only natural for them to have teamed up with a great wine shop to bring their customers first quality wines at value prices. And you can also get like free shipping if you order enough of it. And by enough, I mean like you got to buy a new house, really. Not really. I don't know. What is it? It's $149, over $149. Where'd they come up with that price? That's what I want to know. Let's just go set a price for it. What price? $149. Okay, that sounds like a good price. Let's go with $149. Anyway, right now, go get your free shipping. Buy enough wine to store up your entire house. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who likes to call himself Plane Crash Fenderson is in the room with me right now. Good morning, Plane Crash.
Never called myself that. Good morning, America. MindDogTV.
When are you going to start? You got to start.
In fact, St. Patrick's Day is 26 days away. So go to minddogtv.com, merch to order your St. Patty's Day gear. Spend your green on our green. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
Patty's Day gear. Like gear. Is it like, what is it? I don't know. Gear. What would be a gear?
A snake. It would be a dead snake you wear around your neck. A boa, as a matter of fact.
All right. That's cool. I picked the wrong time to update software on a computer. What's happening? The cat wants to fly to California without you.
I need to close my door because my wife is working from home today.
Oh.
There's a slight, and she hasn't closed her office door, so my office door was open.
I would like to hear her office conversation.
It's not that. First of all, a lot of it's classified.
Classified. Ooh,
yeah. And then also sometimes she hears me and I say things like cunt, and she has
don't say that. That's terrible. It's a bad thing to say. So we'll talk about grief and Cuomo. Which do you prefer? Grief or Cuomo?
Well, I think talking about Cuomo will give me grief, so it's like a two-sworded edge.
What do you remember about this Cuomo thing? Because
I remember that he's how can I put it? I was inundated with seeing him on television a lot. It's like I couldn't swing a dead cat without seeing him on television. And in the beginning, he seemed to be the voice of reason when it came to COVID. You know, but then again, that was compared to what Trump was doing. You know, Trump was surrounding himself with a circus and he wasn't getting any information. Trump was just like saying things like, you know, can we shine a light? Let's shine a light on it. Then we could put a flashlight up your ass or whatever. And then Cuomo was doing with like no frills. I'm behind the desk. I have this song, you know, and none of the theatrics, just the pomp, no circumstance. Or maybe it was circumstance, no pomp. I get those two mixed up. So by comparison, he looks pretty good. Now, I don't know what numbers he was. There was a thing about him fudging numbers about how many people are actually dying in senior centers. And I don't know. I don't know, because sometimes numbers are deliberately skewed on purpose. And I don't know if he had anything to, if their numbers were skewed, I don't know if it was at his direction or whoever was in charge of that department going, I really want them to think I'm doing a better job. So these are the numbers I'm reporting to my boss. So I don't know any of that stuff.
Have there ever been? It's very confusing to me because we were preoccupied with COVID, and then people were saying, you know, maybe run for president. Everybody hated Trump at that point, and who's going to run for president and all this stuff. And all I remember is at every gig I did, there were posters of Cuomo, like dartboards and stuff. Because around here, a Republican country, and they just hated him because he's a Democrat, not necessarily because of what he was doing or what he stood for. And then some girl came out, accused him of just like saying, "Hey, you look hot in that skirt," or something. It wasn't rape. It wasn't he touched, inappropriate touching. And then there are pictures of all these women like hugging him and stuff. So it's like, how much did you feel really he was inappropriate behavior? And that's where it gets. The power dynamic can be maybe they were uncomfortable hugging him, but got in a photo op. You never know about any of that stuff. But still, I mean, the difference between having a president who rapes children and a guy a governor who says you look hot in that skirt
is party. That's the difference is party. That's it.
You think?
Yes, that's what I think is party, because there's two things. As a general rule of thumb, the Republicans don't hold their own accountable, regardless. It's like, it's as a rule of thumb, regardless of what they do, it's like, what? No, deny. And it's just gotten worse over the years. I mean, back when, heck of a job, Brownie, the whole town is being flooded. Thousands of people are dead. And the one responsible for disaster response, Brown, is getting a attaboy from the other fool in the White House, Bush.
Why do you call New York shitty? It's not New York shitty. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But Al Franken just says, just do this. 20 years ago, and he's gone.
Yeah, it's a little different. I think it's a little different with the presidential office. I think, and we don't have Clinton is the closest thing, and that was with a 22-year-old. But they did defend and I think what Clinton did was wrong, despite it's not on the level of what Trump did with the Epstein people. But I think what Clinton did was wrong because he opened himself up to compromise. I don't care about him fucking young girls on the side. But he's the president of the United States, and he's opened himself up to blackmail. I think that was
I agree. I agree with that on all. Yeah.
So, but the Democrats were just at that time they were, to protect him at all costs. This is no big thing. Why do we even care about him? Fucking what he does with.
Well, I don't remember them saying why don't we care. I remember because it was being talked about, and I don't know that they cared or didn't care. I think it was. Part of it is, even by that time, Clinton was being bombarded with all kinds. The Clintons were like the attack dog. Everybody was against them, and so it's like, well, how do you take anything seriously? It's like, well, let's sort through all this shit, because Clinton could literally just walk outside, burp, and then they'd say, well, he was violating EPA rules and laws, and let's prosecute him. Let's investigate him for burping, because that's methane gas. He's violating a law that he signed, whatever. So it didn't matter what he did. It was going to be blown out of proportion. So I'm thinking maybe they were trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, because I think they're saying, like, there's no way he could have done everything they're saying he's doing. He's not responsible. Look, people killing people. He killed people too? Come on. I think if the Republicans were more credible as witnesses, more credible as eyewitnesses to history, they could get more done, at least things like that. I mean, look at their spokespeople, Karl Rove. My God.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. No, you're right about that. Or the whole Fox News, thing. It's just that's propaganda central. It's just it's just all ridiculous, and that's why.
Right, and they could have been dead right on something. I mean, literally, like I'm trying to think. Oh. Hunter Biden's laptop. Okay, there was something there. But guess what? All the people that were making accusations were some worst criminals out there.
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump.
No, and the double standard here, because you have
Bannon.
Eric and Don Jr. coming out and basically admitting in an interview that they sell influence and access to the president, like for cash. I mean, they admitted that, and so it's basically you went crazy over Hunter Biden, but these two kids are just making billions off of selling access to their father. That's nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to talk about that.
That's why I said it's party. It's for the most part it's party. You know, let's put this. Look, Cuomo had party. I mean, Cuomo had power. He had influence. He was white, so he had all the prerequisites to have to be protected. Except for he was a Democrat. That's the only thing. He had everything else going for him.
But the Democrat, at least in this film, and I'm sure I know you didn't watch the film or the 5-part series. The claim is that the Democrats and the people she has in the film are definitely Democrats. They say that I'm a registered Democrat, blah 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 blah. But they were absolutely trying to rehabilitate Cuomo at this point and just say, well, it doesn't matter. It was all set up. It's just women are, you know, how women, they just jump on the band. And so they were just trying to make excuses for it. Now, again, it's not the same. It's not even close to the same thing, but they were going out of their way to say, you know, he shouldn't have resigned. But the big part of what they loved about him when they were saying he was presidential, blah, 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 is a guy who fights back. Why would he resign if it was all just bullshit? Why would you resign the governorship if it was all just bullshit? I don't know. We'll talk to her about that in the second hour when she gets here. We're already late for the first hour, and Julia Lindenthal isn't here. This is second time.
Well, it's because she has a webcam, but now she doesn't have a microphone.
Or now she threw a computer out to get a webcam, or sold it.
And so she sold a computer to buy a webcam.
Yeah. I just don't know. Now she has this GoFundMe thing.
Yeah.
That she has a goal of $16,000. I mean, how do you put a price tag on that?
Somebody's recommended it. I don't know.
$16,000 is in honor of George Lindenthal. $16,000 is the goal. It's $15,000. My glasses are wrong. $15,000. That at least makes a little more sense. It's just a more round number, like 16,000. Like, when did you come up with that number? But she's got 11,645 of that raised already. Remembering the life of John George Lindenthal and working to find a cure for arterial plaque removal. So, just to be clear here, and you don't know this, but I'm acting like you would know this. Would $15,000 find a cure for
this is just a theory. Different foundations have like different awards or different things named after people. So maybe the foundation said, you know, for this honorarium, if you raise $15,000, we'll put a plaque in his honor on our wall or on our whatever. If you raise this for us, he gets a plaque, and you know. That's so maybe she didn't set the price. Maybe they set the price.
Yeah, for a plaque. I mean,
well, I'm just saying.
I get it. I think you're right. But now that you say that, and I think you're right, I think, well, what the fuck is a plaque? And the plaque, it only helps the daughters. Oh, I can go visit this plaque. You can go visit a headstone or an urn, whatever. That's not really gonna. Now she's going to show.
Well, maybe the plaque also goes with a tree in a park, or maybe it's a bench on a. You know, look, I in Columbia, Maryland, not too far from where I live now. There was a park that you could walk along, and if you donated so much money to the park, when you got to sit on a bench, sometimes the bench was named after a person. Sometimes there was plaques in the ground named after a person. Sometimes it was a tree named after a person. But all those things cost money, and that money went to the park.
All right.
So maybe there's a Heart Foundation park somewhere, and they have a tree and a plaque and a building and a car or whatever. I don't know.
Long Island is full of benches named after people, and I always feel weird sitting on them. Like, okay, it's and I honor the person, but now I shouldn't sit there. I mean, it's like sitting on.
That's the whole point. The point is like the whole point is that you honor them by using. You know, this is what it's here for. It is here for you to rest. for you to find rest just like they're resting.
It's
So
not the
rest.
same as like sitting on a tombstone there, like having lunch sitting on
Well,
somebody's
it's slightly different than sitting on a tombstone because those pizzas,
They're probably
they're not very
from the
good pizzas.
hemorrhoidal experience. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the pizza. I was saying, because they're not very good pizzas.
Oh, yes. But
My,
yeah,
go ahead.
benches everywhere. Benches everywhere. I mean, there are more benches with names on it than benches with not names on it. How about that? That's something. All right.
This morning, my wife and I were talking. My wife had asked me a question about somebody's name. She said, "Is this a cool name or what?" And I went, "That is a cool name."
Was it Matt Apple?
No, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't think I should know the name. So, but I said, "Yeah, that's a very cool name." I said, "What's the last name?" She tells me the last name. I said, "It sounds Arabic." So because that would depend on how I pronounce the name, is whether or not that was Arabic or Hebrew or German, whatever. And so I pronounced the name in a certain way, and I said, "Okay." I said, "It's Arabic. I believe that name means God is teasing me." And as a joke, and my wife goes, "Really? You think that word's an Arabic word?" I don't think that's an Arabic word or whatever. And I said, don't question me. I said, "It's funny." I said, "It's funny." I said, "It's funny like that." And she goes, "What if it's not an Arabic word?" I said, "Look, don't question." I said, "Do not question my judgment about humor."
Judge me, woman.
I said, "Don't question my judgment about humor just before I'm going to go on a show and then travel 3,000 miles to another show. Don't get me doubting my jokes. Don't get me doubting my humor." And so she starts laughing at me. So I guess I should just shut up until I get back. Right. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm surprised you still have a head this morning, because my head would not be on my shoulders, at least. Might be somewhere, but not on my shoulders.
Sunshine would be on your shoulders. Making
Sunshine
you
would be
happy.
on my shoulders. Yeah, what a great show yesterday at the senior place. I mean,
I meant to ask you about that.
wow. I mean, listen, it is what it is. What it is. It's not like playing rock clubs and whatever. But the amount of people who came out, oh, great music! I can't wait till you come back again. I mean, it was, that shit never gets old. It feels good to have people saying that, and there were a lot of them yesterday. So it was very fulfilling, and because a lot of people just go there and do karaoke stuff, and I did a little of that, but I turned off the tracks and was just playing and singing, and they appreciate that. Hey, look, somebody's not, not just faking it, So it
I'm
was.
glad you turned off the tracks because you didn't like the tracks anyway.
I hate the tracks.
Yeah.
Now, to say I don't like the tracks is putting it so mildly. I hate the tracks, even when the tracks are, I know the arrangement and I've practiced it and I know that stuff. I just hate it. It's just like I don't.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Part of it is that it, like anybody could do that.
Right.
Okay, anybody can do that, but not anybody's going to put in the work to learn a song, even if they learn one chord wrong in the song. But if they sing it on pitch, and I'm talking about me in New York, Wonderful Tonight.
There's a guy, Frankie. I can't remember Frankie's last name.
Avalon.
He was a keyboard player for a wedding band I played in the 80s, and he was capable of playing all the wrong chords. I mean, terrible chords, and singing perfect pitch. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, it just it was just like making strange sounds on this keyboard, and like, dude, you cut your hands off. You're not even anywhere near a key, and those chords are not even like real chords. It's just like, and still able to sing perfectly. Like,
Well, you say real chords. I think a chord is just 3 or more notes.
Yeah, but when it's every fucking
so those
note,
are real chords.
like you got 5 fingers on each hand, he would somehow hit 12 different, all 12 notes somehow. I don't know. It was just awful.
Apparently, you're not a fan of modal music.
Well, no, but when you're trying to do like a love song at a wedding, a popular love song off the radio, and that kind of dissonance just doesn't happen on the.
See, what song was he doing? Don't go changing the key you're
So many
singing.
songs. You
It's
know
like
what? A perfect example of, remember Bog Skaggs, close the window, draw the light, and it will be all right.
yeah.
Forevermore or something like that. It's a really nice ballad song, and the keyboard would be like, how the fuck is he singing like that? And you just want to grab his hands and tie them and say, "Don't touch it. I'll play the guitar part for you, and you could sing along to that." But,
Yeah, I was thinking like, don't go changing the key you're singing.
yeah,
I'll put every note in this chord.
right. That was one song he would do that with too. He would sing Barbara Streisand stuff, which, for a guy, it's really difficult. And he would sing it like perfect and just play it all wrong. I remember his last name now. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't want to embarrass him, even though he knows I'm talking about him. He's the only one who knows.
Now, I'm just curious. You said he sang the Barbara Streisand and stuff. Now, was it not just the notes, because it's also the way she sang? I was asking about the shape of his nose. Because I've seen one other person sing almost exactly like Barbara Streisand.
Wow.
And they had the exact same nose. The exact same nose.
No, he didn't have that. He had more of an Italian nose than a Jewish nose. Oh, what a bigoted thing to say. It's true. But and he didn't sing it like her at all. But he got into the range, but he did a lot of stuff falsetto, but he did powerful enough falsetto that it sounded full voice. It was good. He was a good singer. One of the better singers I've ever worked with, but just a terrible keyboard player. And that band, we had a lot of really strange characters. We had one guy who played trombone, and he just wanted to sing like old Italian songs, and he'd be like, "Hey, wait, Marie!" Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Crazy Mary, look it up. The Tarantella stuff. Oh my God! And he'd be blowing the trombone and like going, but trombone takes a lot of wind, and then to go on the microphone, you're like huffing and puffing.
Trump is funny because to me, Trump. I think I was very young, and my introduction to a trombone was that it was the clown of the brass instruments. It's like, it's just a funny instrument. And I think, I'm not sure that the trombone was ever meant to be a funny instrument, but I think just what you could do with it made it more funny than some of the others.
Yeah, I always like that.
Yeah.
We don't have, you know what? My fear is, this is I've had a fear of impending doom all night long. I didn't sleep.
You've had a fear of impending doom since you were
now,
55 because you've made it past the deadline.
Well, now the impending doom is that both guests will be here in the second hour, and that's not good. That's just not good. I can't have that. I can't be talking about, oh, your father died, let's raise some money for arterial plaque stuff. Oh, you made a film about Cuomo, let's talk about it. Oh, what about your father? And what about your film? What about your... I can't do that. So I'll have to tell one of them. I would tell Julia, go get your shine box and your webcam and come back again next week. That's what I would, because I'm just a terrible person that way. Rude. Just very rude. So Prince Andrew got arrested, right? This is the king's brother.
Yeah, damn it! I want to read that. I meant to read. I got distracted. I pulled it up to read it about it, and I got distracted. Yeah.
I guess the king doesn't have the kind of power he used to. I mean, the king's brother. You in this country, we're doing nothing. Nobody's even getting.
But the power is more influential, and it's not political power.
Right.
It's political influence.
Yeah.
I get the feeling they could arrest the king if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I don't think King Charles ever. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy. Didn't he have a one-legged woman? I mean, if a guy who can make love to a one-legged woman, you got to give him some credit. All right, he's a good guy. Right?
Well,
am I wrong?
And his involvement in Prince Diana's death is tangent. It's far away at best. Murder adjacent.
I got an itchy Tim Pool head. The only reason I'm wearing the Tim Pool stuff is because I got to get new headphones. These are hurting my ears, and the Tim Pool thing seems to be softer on the ears, but it was making my head itchy. You can't have itchy head.
Okay. It says British police arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor today after weeks of revelations over the former prince's friendship and dealings with the late convicted sex offender and financier Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't know they throw in it's like sex offender and financier, blackmailer.
That's a strange resume.
Thames Valley Police, which covers an area in southern England where Mountbatten Windsor used to live, said it arrested a man in his 60s on suspicion of misconduct in public office, which carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment.
The Mountbatten stuff, that's the first time I've ever heard that. What the fuck is that? That's his middle name, or that's his maiden name? What the hell is that?
That may be his title, Mountbatten Windsor. Because, Windsor is a city.
But that was their name. That was the family name, right? Windsor?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
The House of Windsor.
Let's see. Okay, Kate Middleton and Prince William support King Charles. Of course they support King Charles.
Craig said they stripped him of his royal name.
Right.
And he stripped the girls of their royal virginity. That's terrible. I'll go to hell. I'm going to go to hell. Meet me there.
I'm sorry. I lost my invitation.
So now it's raggedy old Mountbatten Windsor. Winslow.
Okay.
Winslow. No, it's Windsor. Why you got Windsor? I'm easily confused. We know this. Don't compound things.
Okay. Thames Valley Police said in a statement, they arrested him at his residence at Sandringham.
Please stand by. And the Prime Minister of Norway did he get arrested or just kicked out of office? I think he did get arrested.
Let's find out. Prime Minister of Norway. I'm make sure I get this. Prime Steak. No, not steak. Let me finish. Prime, not Meridian. I typed an M. Let me finish. Prime, not Minnie Mouse. God damn it. Let me finish. Prime Minister.
Oh, it's still saying the shipping
of Norway. No way.
Wait, at the Pen. He might have had a nice time in Santa Fe at the Pen. Sorry about the fat fingers. Sorry. The Pen. That's not the Zorro Ranch. The Pen. What is the Pen? The Pen.
Ex-Prime Minister, not the current Prime Minister. The ex-Prime Minister is charged with corruption linked to Epstein.
Corruption.
Right.
That's a funny way of saying rape and murder.
Well, he may have just used money for those types of things. And I don't know how I missed that, because this is from 6 days ago. Did I miss it? Or did I just, it says charged. I don't know. Because the Reverend only has time to do like 4 stories, 5 at the most. And 5 is if you do like real fast reading. Sometimes the Reverend will read things real fast. And when he does that, that's when he has like 5 stories he wants to get through.
His volume was much lower than usual this morning, which is
kind of weird. I noticed that too. But I think part of it was because he was fucking tired.
Aren't we all? I just have this sense of, and I don't know why I have a sense of impending. Like I've said it several times, I guess I can't make myself believe it. I don't give a shit. You could just fire me from this dopey paint thing. I'm sorry. I'm straight up. I'm sorry I got involved with these paint people out in California because I'm doing it now on my own. I have things booked on my own, and then I have no. People bitch at me, and I just do it. The people who hire me are always happy, or at least they act happy. but then they got to go through the office. And for 100 people today, the list of supplies that I'm supposed to bring, I only got last night. And I only got last night because I reached out to the lead painter and said, what am I supposed to bring? Because in the event, it says all supplies are being shipped to the venue. And she said, no, there's a list on the bottom of your event painter, and not on mine. And I showed it. She said, well, you got to tell them that. Well, now I'm expected to bring supplies for 100 people that I don't have. And like, where, it's kind of short notice. So I got to go out and buy 100 aprons. Come on, stop. I don't want to do it. That's my whiny, cryy voice. You like it? You like it? All right. Well, we don't have to have it anymore. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Buy it. So, you're gonna go do your show. Farts are funny.
Well, first I want to thank Tony. Tony just said, good luck with the shows, or best, all the best with your shows. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that.
All the worst,
best.
all the worst.
Yeah.
You want the worst, not the best. The worst. The worst is the best. It's better when it's worse. So you're gonna go do 40 farts and fun, and then you're gonna go home and you're gonna sleep for like 6 hours.
Well, then I got to come and do some packing, because the equipment I'm using at the Funny Old Farts show tonight, I'm using in California as well. So I got to pack up that equipment, make it fit in my suitcase, and then fly out to.
And then you got a layover in Oostboiken.
I don't know, but I don't pay attention to what layovers are. I think one's in Chicago. I think one of the layovers is in Chicago. I just don't know if it's the way out or the way back.
The traveling is that's, I hate that. Now, because I haven't been on a plane since COVID. They strip search you when you get on a plane.
Well, no. At one point, I used to have a TSA, some kind of TSA exemption thing where I just went on through. But I don't think I have that anymore.
Can I make and I know you won't do it, but
no, I won't do it.
A suggestion that I would like you to do, if you would do it, but I know you won't do it, is fill up a bag that you have checked, or even a carry-on bag with all those sex toys that you have, and just put them all in there.
I don't need them. The space is a premium for me right now.
No, but you don't need them. But it would be good to like have the TSA people. What's in it? And then they start taking it out.
Space is a premium. Space is a premium for me. I can't be packing shit I don't need.
Not even for a gag. It's for a viral video, because you take the video and then you show them taking dildos out and like, what's that? And it would be funny.
It would be funny, and if the Reverend ever does a show on the road where he has to fly, it will be packed in there, and the camera will be rolling.
Maybe you could get them to just come with you, and
tickets already bought. Tickets already paid for.
No, I didn't mean actually get on the flight. Let's go through the TSA part, and then I'm not even flying anywhere. I just wanted to get.
And then how would I get through? He's already gotten through TSA. How would I get through?
I don't know. I just want clips.
You don't think these things out.
I know.
Both of us can't go through it.
It's not my job to think out. It's my job to get funny clips to show people. Isn't this funny? He's bringing out dildos. That's funny. Ha ha ha. Dildos are funny.
And in California, thank you. Having a nice trip. Thank you, Ann. California.
Yeah, thank you. It's got it.
And in Bakersfield. Thank you.
What happened with Larry King? Did he have like throat cancer or something? Why did he talk like that?
No, this is just my rendition of him. I don't know that.
But he did talk like that.
Well, I think I made him more raspy because my my throat is so mucousy right now.
Yeah,
it is. I can't. It's getting to. I was like, if I breathe too deep, I start to cough phlegm.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna cough up phlegm any second now. Ian Fleming is phlegm. Anyway, so yeah, I guess Julia Lindenthal either isn't going to come or she's going to come at the wrong time, and I'm going to have to say, sorry about your dad. Maybe we can get him a plaque or something on another show at another time. Last night I had Devin Green on. She's a pathologist who's now a medical crime author.
Right.
And she one of her books is about organ brokers, people who are. If you need a kidney and you got enough money, you could go buy. Now it's illegal, but you know, of course, illegal doesn't matter if you have enough money, right? And people buy. I'm just gonna buy your kidney from you. Yeah, how much? How much you want for that? You're not using it. You got 2 of them. You're not using. Can I make an offer on your extra kidney? So, but that's something that she writes about, and I brought up. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know about this, but the Chinese ladies. You know the Chinese ladies?
Okay, I have a suggestion for someone out there who has 2 kidneys. If they have a kidney that they can spare, you know, if they want to sell one of their kidneys and they have a kidney stone and it's in only one of the kidneys, sell that kidney. That way, while that kidney is out, they can remove the stone, because my understanding is those things are a bitch to pass. So remove that kidney, take that stone out, and give that kidney sell that kidney to someone else. You're making money. You got rid of your kidney stone without having all the other problems that goes with passing a kidney stone.
You give me an entrepreneurial idea. You know, like there's these websites, Carfax, where if you're going to go buy a used car, you can look up all, you know, the previous history of the car. You can Kidney Facts. If you're going to buy a kidney, we'll tell you everything that's happened to that kidney along the way. What do you think? Good.
They have to report it, though. It's the honor system. How do you people to report it?
That's true. See, I don't think these things through.
If somebody has an accident with their car, but they don't take it through the insurance company doesn't have to pay, especially if you're, let's say you have money and you can just do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I brought up the Chinese lady. You know the Chinese ladies? You don't know the Chinese ladies, do you? In Union
Tai Chi?
No, in Union Square Park in New York City.
Are these the ones that stand still?
Yeah, they stand still like that. And for the people on the radio, I'm doing this.
Right.
I'm doing it.
Doing
and
that.
They stand there all day. And I watched them for like 3 days before I actually got up the ambition to actually ask them, what are you doing? What is this? And they were protesting. Like, protesting what? Apparently, and I never verify. I think I did look it up, and it seemed to have at least an element of truth to it. Is that in China, they actually grow people to use them for their organs. So go have a baby, get knocked up, and make a baby. We'll raise the baby in like a greenhouse babies. And when they reach a certain age, if we find somebody like a wealthy Chinese part of the Communist Party needs whatever you need transplanted, we'll just take it from these people alive. Well, what if it'll kill them? It doesn't matter. They were born and raised just as like an organ donors. It's just fucking bizarre, man.
I know when I was in my 20s, I was writing a screenplay, trying to write a screenplay, and it was called Eye for Eye, the letter I for letter I, you know, and it was about a millionaire who had had 6 kids, but they were all clones of him. Because he knew that he had a disease, and his organs were going to fail, and so he had 6 kids that were pretty much identical, but because they were all clones of him. But he had them raised in different parts of the country, so they would not know each other. And as he got older, he kept trying to prolong his life, because he was very rich. And 2 of the kids happened to meet by chance, because the idea is you would disappear the kid when you need them. You just use them and disappear them, and they weren't supposed to be found. And they were starting to turn up, and 2 kids that resembled the people that were dead start putting one and one together and so forth. But anyway, was it organ? No, he wanted to transfer he wanted to do it. Okay. He was trying to transfer his brain to another body. That's what it was. And that's why he had so many bodies, because he was trying to, it was so they could have experiments. They could say, okay, we have 6 tries to get this right. And that was it. And I was still in the middle of writing it, and then the movie came out with Mick Jagger in it, and Mick Jagger is like playing the billionaire, and he's playing the person who they want to swap the brain with, and it was such a bad movie that I gave up on what I was doing. I remember that. I called it Eye for Eye is what I called it.
Brain transplant, a whole body transplant, is largely theoretical, highly complex procedure involving the transfer of a brain into a donor's body to treat fatal diseases while preserving consciousness. While monkey head transplants were performed in the 1970s, human full neural reconnection remains currently beyond medical capability. That would be a weird thing, man.
Yeah, because they weren't now in my book, they weren't doing it by hand. There was like little robots, they had surgical robots in my book.
So Elon Musk was the hero of your book.
No, the hero of my book was me, not me personally, because I based that on a theory. I had a video game that I was working on called Medical Mercenaries. It was the name of the video game I was working on. And Richard Reamer, if you're out there, call me. We can talk. We need to talk. So Medical Mercenaries was the game. And part of the thing was this was about rich people. All the hospitals in the future were privately owned. There was no public hospitals like the cities. Everything was privately owned. And so the people who were rich were the ones that got the best care. And if they needed like organs, they had an army that they could send out to, get an organ. And so in each hospital had its own army. So your hospital is fighting like another army of another hospital. But then one of the points is that if one of your soldiers is injured, you have to decide on whether or not that soldier's organs are more valuable to the hospital than he is as a soldier. If he's good, more valuable as a soldier, then you want to save him and put him back in battle. But if he's just like a grunt, you take the organs and send him back to the hospital, and then you just leave the body.
Wow!
But in the game, you had to perform the surgery, and so I was trying to, and it had not been invented yet. I was trying to invent gloves so that when you moved them, it would operate the gloves on the screen, the hands on the screen, so you could do the surgery like that. And the technology that I was basing it on was there was a game called Duck Hunt, and Duck Hunt had a light. You focused the light, and so what I was doing is I was trying to make the gloves with the light so that you could operate the hands on the screen with the light on the fingers, And like I said, it was a lot of money. I never got finished it. It was very complicated, way beyond what I knew how to do. So I was learning as I was going along, and I never finished the game. And by the time I would have finished it, they was coming out with so many. They were coming out while I was looking at that. Someone else came out with the glove. Someone beat me to it, and I was like, "Well, I can't invent the glove because someone invented the glove." And then they got all the stuff that's virtual that mimics your body movement and stuff like that. By the time I'd learned all that stuff, I was so far behind the curve. I was ahead of the curve in what I wanted to do, behind the curve with my knowledge of how to do it.
There's lots of videos here on YouTube. I'm not going to play any of them because they bore the shit out of people. But the first one I came across is one surgeon's obsession with head transplants. Max G. Levy. Ultimate goal was to one day perform the surgery on humans, while disturbing the idea of body transplants remains biologically unethical. And then how does
biologically unethical?
Yeah. How
but financially ethical?
I don't know. Yeah. How does a head transplant take, and all the difficulty is connecting the spinal cord and all this stuff. It's just morbid. I think. And maybe I'd prefer to die than to just have my head on another body that I'm not. I don't know, unless it was like a really like maybe like a great body. Yeah, I'll take a 22-year-old's body. Then I'd be like an ugly 22-year-old. I don't know. It's just weird, man. People are weird, but that raises the whole issue of like I'm sorry to go here with this, like the people who say trans stuff, a man could never be a woman. Well, or a woman could never be a man. If you just take the head and put it on another body, right? And how does that work? Or maybe you can't do it because there's the chromosomal thing, the extra chromosome or whatever.
That would fuck things up.
I would think that would complicate things tremendously. The people, I don't know, I got down so because the Trumpers people just like hung up on this this idea that what is a woman, and and can a man be a woman, and blah blah blah. To me, I think there's absolute truth in that. The chromosomal thing makes it you're either biologically a male, a woman, or a hermaphrodite. So this is biologically the case. But if somebody wants to live their life as a woman and tell themselves they're a woman, go do all the things a woman would do, even though they're missing that or whatever, whoever gets the extra chromosome. I think the woman has the extra Y chromosome, right? But if they want to live their life that way, why does that hurt you? And how does it hurt anybody in any way? Like, what? Why are you so fucking hung up on that? They're not. That's what I can't wrap my head around. It's like, okay, you don't think they were actually a woman. That's fine. But why does it bother you that you don't have to have sex with them? You're not being forced.
Wait a minute, you don't?
No, you don't. I don't know. What you do? You just finding out you don't have to?
Yes, I am just finding that out.
Oh, so you feel better now because now that you're not in line anymore to have sex with all these trans people. You were on the back of the line, by the way, but so it didn't really matter. Like not like you were ever going to get there. But why does it bother? Like, how does it affect you? Let them, if they want to call themselves a woman, even though you can say technically you're not a woman. Well, why? Why do you want to do that? I don't know where the anger comes from, the hatred for it. Like, yeah, I don't want to do it, and I really don't understand it like fully. But I have no problem with anybody living there. Isn't that what this whole idea about freedom is supposed to be about? Whatever makes you happy, do it as long as you're not hurting anybody else, and they're not hurting anybody else. Can you give me any way that you imagine they're hurting somebody else by doing that? Right?
I don't know. I was just looking at
you're shredding your Epstein files. I saw that.
No. What it is I was holding my bottle in my hand and I was realizing that my set list may be too long for the bottle.
Oh.
And so I wanted to print it out so I could see it. And I printed it out and it's too long for the bottle.
No, why don't you? It's expensive. But don't you have like a teleprompter or a set list? I guess it's just a
set list. It's not a teleprompter. Just a set list.
All right.
And not only that, teleprompter would be a pain in the ass. Because first of all, the only comedian I've ever known to use a teleprompter, I think, was Bill Maher. I saw him use the teleprompter doing a comedy show once.
Wow. That's lame.
And
you got to read your jokes. You might as well.
And it was in like a huge theater, But
at the stand with Carl, we saw a comedian who was reading his phone the whole fucking time. I wanted to throw shit at him. He was look and not even looking like doing this and reading like I read the wine commercial in the morning. I mean, Jesus, why am I paying for you to read jokes off your phone?
My script for the show in California is 38 pages.
Wow. You got it memorized?
Memorized-ish. Because that's the problem is like literally even though I have things written up, even now I'm trying to I have what I think is the final set list, and I'm going over it, and I came up with something different and something. I'm like, shit, okay. And that's what happens in my brain. My brain is never finished with the never finished with the material. It's never finished with it.
Do you put it on like a bar stool or something? I mean, where do you put the set list?
Oh no, my set list goes on the back of my bottle, my water bottle, right here.
There you go. That's clever. That's
Yeah,
very clever.
I've been doing it that way since 2018. I think I started doing it like that. No, 2019. I did this because the first I did the comedy special that won the award for worst comedy special of all time. I had
I'm
noticed,
not familiar with it.
Well, I saw a comedian put his set list on the back of the monitors, and I said, that's what I'm going to do. I had not, and so so up in every place I performed, had monitors. So I was put on the back of the monitors, and for that one, the one I recorded, my set list is on the back of the monitor. Now, of course, I had to like walk over a little bit sometimes or look over toward the monitors. And so the next special I shot, the monitors were not, I was on a theater stage. There were no monitors up on the stage. So I taped my set list to the floor because the audience couldn't see it because it was on the stage. They couldn't see the floor.
Right. That's more common. Is like, I see people do that all the time. But nice big marker like set, and sometimes it's just one word more than just like a.
Well, if it's a band, it's like just song titles. Like in my case, it's kind of like a set list, like a song title. Each bit has a title, and it was 3 pages. Because the show was in 3 acts, and so each act had its own page. And then I got to the point where I said, well, that was kind of cumbersome because then I had to make sure whenever I wanted to end a joke or something, I had to make sure I was back at this spot so I could just look down and see what it was. So after that second one, I came up with the idea of putting my set list on the back of the bottle. I said, because my bottle is always with me. It's like this thing, but the bar stool is there. So I didn't have to rely on the floor, making sure nobody could see the floor. I didn't have to rely on there being a monitor nearby. I said, I'm in control. I'm always going to have a chair or a bar stool with me on stage, and I'm always going to have my water bottle with me. So I put my set list on the back of my water bottle. And that's what I kept trying to teach young comedians how to do that. Put a set list on the back of their water bottle. Some listen, some don't. One tried it, and he put it on the back of a cup. And the cup sweat, and the set list got wet and it ran. I said, no. I said, stop trying to look. I told you why I do it this way. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't sweat. It's long. So, but that's the other thing. Not many people are doing like 90-minute sets like I was doing. They might do like 15, 20, 30 minutes. And so they can put it on like the back of a cup. I needed something longer,
I don't know anybody who does 90-minute sets.
I do.
I mean, besides you.
Oh.
I really seriously, I don't know anybody. Oh, that was loud. I know you couldn't hear it, but I just blasted some music out of my brain. Somebody on Facebook was asking for an old song I did, and then I was trying. You can't just send the link to a music file. Like you can't just upload a music file into a comment. I just found that out. I went to do it, and it started blasting, almost blasted my ears off. So I'm gonna have to pull up the please stand by thing again when Sarah. I've been practicing. I really have. I had to say her last name. Why do people have to have
Alessandrini?
Alessandrini.
I'm not even looking at it. I was just trying to do it from memory.
Alessandrini. Well, why didn't you do it then?
No.
Well, anyway, we're waiting on her to show up in about 12 minutes or so. I think she'll be here because she yelled at me last night for send the link in a broken border. Send them the link to broken. No, they were asking for Getting Bald, a song that I wrote when I was a kid about getting bald because I could see my future coming.
My friend Phil wrote a song about getting bald.
Yeah.
Where's your song? Let's play both songs on. Let's do both songs on the air today.
What did I just had it out. I don't know if you saw it while I had it out. I put it away.
No, I don't. I never look under the table.
Well, I had it on the table and a hatchet. You know what? I forgot to do. I'm just saying. I've had a backing track that I wanted to pull up for those people yesterday, and I never did. I went through all the trouble of loading that in. I never did it. So fuck me. Fuck
I wouldn't do that if I were no.
Fuck backing tracks anyway. Who needs backing tracks? That's what I say.
So I am going to prepare. Where can I put that? I put the song. I guess I can put it in. Maybe I don't. It's okay. I have to find my music. There's my music.
There's my music. There's my music.
Okay, volatile cocktail. Statement 82. There it is.
Getting bald. Ooh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do getting bald. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is Ian's fault that I'm doing this, by the way. So we can just yell at Ian about. I could have just put it in the music, couldn't I? Couldn't I just have done that? Am I that stupid? Yes, I am. More music. Can I just? Boy, look at me. I'm just so stupid. You see how stupid I am? You do. You see how stupid I am. It's not going well. Add music. Just drop it here. I'm trying to just drop it there. Why it's not letting me drop?
What format is it? What format is it in?
Wave. Oh yeah, it's going up. All right. Hold your ears because this is going to be loud. Maybe I should bring the volume down to somewhat reasonable, and don't loop it. Right.
Well, I was just 18. I was feeling when I noticed I was losing my hair. It was so obscene. I didn't want to be seen, but I didn't really care. But it really got me down.
It got me
when
down.
I went out on the town.
Out on the town.
Since when have you been shaving your head?
Head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
And I'll never have that end of the day.
Head.
When I was just 21, wasn't that much fun, but I always get a good clean shine. So I put on a hat because my hair was too flat.
I'm going to hell.
I went out to have a good time, but it really got me down.
It got me
When I
down.
went out on the town,
Out on the
and a friend
town.
stand up and said, since when have you been shaving your head?
Head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
I'm getting bald.
Ooh yeah, it's good head.
And I never had that end till I'm dead.
Dead.
Now I'm just 35, don't know how I survive when most of my friends are dead. Well, I never look back, I just put on the wax and I rub it right into my head. But it really got me down.
It got me
When I went
All
down.
right, that's enough of that. There's a little, I don't know, sort of a semi-amusing story to that. We were working for a company called Audio Technical Recording Institute. They had a little school there where they're teaching people to be engineers, and we would go in there and just do demos all day long for these people. And so that song was written on the spot. And we grabbed the drummer's little sister and two of her friends. They're singing in the back. They didn't know what they were singing. That's why I say I'm going to hell. These girls, they were maybe 15, 16 years old. And they were, oh yeah, it's good. And I'm sure they didn't know what the meaning.
I'm pretty sure they knew more than you think they knew.
It was an innocent time. It was a time of innocence. It was a time.
Really? You're about the same age as Trump and well, you're younger than Trump and Epstein. But they were doing that stuff back then. That was their prime target audience. Y'all were picking from the same fruit. You were picking fruit from the same orchard.
Yeah. the engineers for that. We kept the engineers entertained. I don't know if they actually learned to actually, be good engineers. I don't know if any of them ever came out of that and have opened up a recording studio, or went to work for a recording studio, any of that stuff. But that was the thing. We would just go in there. I forget what they paid us. It was like minimal, like $20 a song or something, and we do like 10 songs in a day. And so it was good training for me as a songwriter, just to be able to. I need 10 songs for tomorrow. I need 10 original songs tomorrow that they haven't heard already, and just so good training and lots of fun, a little bit exhausting, and sometimes it was just like, what can we do? Oh, just grab your sister and her friends, bring them to the studio with us. So yeah, those days are gone by. Nobody's got studios anymore. Somebody said in one of the recording groups, 10 years from now, there won't be any professional recording studios anymore. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Even though everybody has home studios and stuff like that, if you really want it done right, you should have somebody else engineering it. There's a very few albums where, or recordings at all, even singles, where the writer can be the engineer and all that stuff, and just keep it clean enough to get it right, get it commercially produced. You could say that there are, maybe they're more than I'm thinking, but it's just better when you have a professional engineer and a professional. Because if you're dedicating all your time to learning the proper microphone, the proper microphone placement and technique, the EQs, everything to do with the board, all that stuff, you can't be focusing on good songwriting. You got to be. Focus pays. That's my point. Anyway, how much time we got? Should be due here any moment now, right, Sarah?
Well, I'm trying to see if I got the right. Oh wow, I can't use that file. Okay, I'm going to play. Now I was going to put the lyrics up for the song that I was about to hit. Now this was our song, our bald song.
Well,
this is 1982, so there's probably a little bit of hiss in it.
Nothing's really worth that.
I think I've heard.
Yeah, I remember you asking about whether I used the capo, and I did.
It's kind of scary, but I'm wondering just what life is for. Just my nightlight on. I sit and realize it's just another day is gone. And in my dreams I can see people with no food for thought, and think bellies gurgling in silence under the dead.
That's a good place to stop.
Well,
That's not the end of the song. The song is actually 5 minutes long, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. So I just stopped it
we
there.
could have played it for an hour. It doesn't look like Sarah Alessandrini is going to show up. Now, I would have sworn she would have been here on time. I know she's in L.A., but she was yelling at me last night because I had the wrong link in the thing. I had the private preview link in there, but
oh, you know this? You heard the 1992 version where I was singing.
Shit's got me down. Well, don't shit. Why is the shit? Why you down? Don't be down. I'm down enough for all of us. Oh, look, look at we're 1 for 2. How about that? Are you
It
excited
could be
about
2
being
for
one?
2. Because you said the other
Look
one
at
was
500.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, is Sarah here with us? Yes, she's here with us. All
And
right.
she gave us a little wave. She's nodding her head so she can hear us.
All right. What New Yorkers say? And you know what? There's a lot of New Yorkers. That's a lot of talking. Sala Alessandrini is the creator of a docuseries. This is what New Yorkers say, a multi-episode project examining the rise and fall of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, the role of legacy media in the broader consequences of a culture increasingly driven by outrage rather than evidence. What begins as a discussion about one political figure quickly evolves into a much deeper examination of media narratives, public opinion, and the erosion of nuanced discourse. She's here now. Let's say hello to Sarah Alessandrini. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. All right. Thank you for having me.
Are you still mad at me for putting the wrong link in there? I'm sorry about that.
No, I'm glad I checked just to make sure. I was like, oh,
all
right.
Smack me down here because I'm going to say, first of all, there's it seems like the same New Yorkers are in all 5 of the things. There's not there's a lot of people in New York, and so I'm getting the opinion of people who seem to be all Democrats. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So I didn't do that on purpose. So obviously it's a documentary. So you go on the street and you ask people. And of course, not everybody wants to do an interview. And actually, I filmed the interview that was 2-3 months after he resigned, because this is I filmed them at the end of October of the year he resigned. So I was trying to get even some people that hated him and that had bad opinion about him, but they didn't want to do the interview also because they already got what they wanted.
Oh, okay.
So they had why do we need to talk about this? He resigned. I'm happy about that, and that's it. So obviously, so it ended up being more people, but not everybody support him. There are some people that are I think the people in Union Square.
I'm not sure if you can tell by this accent, but I am a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And it seems very red here. I mean, so what I remember about that time, I know nationally people were saying Cuomo was presidential material and all this stuff, and there was a lot of admiration for him and thinking, well, he's gonna be the guy to beat Trump. But locally, and New York City is very Democratic, but the surrounding suburbs are extremely red, and they hate.
You're in Long Island, right?
Yes. Yeah. So they hated the man. Everywhere I went, it was they had dartboards with Cuomo's picture on it and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like what New Yorkers say, those people are underrepresented in my experience, because they're everywhere, and they live and work in New York City, or some of them work in New York City and live here on Long Island, but the surrounding suburbs were.
Yeah, so it ended up being more people that would have voted for him, the Democratic, in the Democratic Party, obviously, yes. So I had a couple that was very Trump supporter, but then for other reason I was not able to add that interview, but I loved it actually. So, but even at the end of the day, even the people that I couldn't add in the interview, they still were against the way this happened, because that's the point of the documentary. It's not necessarily you like Cuomo, you don't like Cuomo. It's really however you feel about him. Was this the way this should have happened, this situation? And I believe due process for everyone. So even if you like Trump had a lot of accusations too. So if you think that should not be politicized, and everybody deserves due process, that applies to everybody. I'm not saying it should apply only to Democrats and not to Republicans. So that's the point of the documentary at the end of the day. It's really about let's research, let's figure out what actually happened, and then if you don't like him, you can vote him out.
Right. Well, there's such a drastic difference between what he was accused of, and I'm not condoning that behavior or whatever it is, the power dynamic. I get it, but he was like, "Oh, you look hot in that skirt," compared to I'm raping small children and murdering them, and there's a big difference in that whole scope of things.
Yeah, and that the problem that I had too, because like even like those 11 accusations that he had, like some were like, oh, he made a comment on live television that made me uncomfortable. It's not the same thing as like really harassing someone, like trying to have sex with someone. So there are all kinds of, like, the spectrum is like pretty wide, and even like the strongest one was just about him grabbing someone's breast and asking personal questions. Those were like the worst ones. So we're not talking about real rape or something like that. But I think a lot of people don't really understand that, because when they hear sexual harassment, they just don't go beyond that, and they just listen to whatever the media is saying. And the media, like, this was a great story for ratings and everything, so they just kept pushing whether there was something there or not.
Even the thing that they're grabbing on the breast, I didn't see the actual video, but I have been in situations where things really awkward happened by accident. You know, I was hanging out with my keyboard player. We were at a venue watching another band play, and we both went to talk to each other at the same time, and we turned and we touched lips. So to the average person, it looks like we kissed. And then we both thought it was funny, so we laughed. We touched lips and we started laughing. So now to someone else, it looks like two gay guys are giggling and kissing and giggling, and it's like, no, it's like we just touched lips and we thought it was funny. You know?
Don't ever tell me that story before lunch.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. Like, sometimes, like, maybe the story is not as big as it sounds, but depending on how you write it, then the person puts the wrong filter there. So when you read the accusation against Cuomo, then you can be like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, just because the way it's presented. And the problem that I had with the Attorney General report, for example, there is the first accuser who was accusing him of saying, like, let's play strip poker on the helicopter. So the story, then they ask everybody that was in the helicopter with them. They were not alone in the room, and everybody said this never happened. But then apparently the accuser of Cuomo, she threatened one of the people that was actually in that room, and that person changed their mind. And like, the problem is that in the report, in the Attorney General report, this is written there that this person changed their mind after this accuser threatened him. So that should be like witness tampering. That should not be added in the report. Like, no judge would really take that seriously, but it was still added. And there were other situations.
But what was the nature of the threat? And the reason why I asked that is because in my family, this is a family dynamic, and I'm sure I'm not the only family that has this. My mother, after she found Jesus, tried to rewrite our childhood histories. You know, and my mother goes, I never spanked you children. I never hit you or whatever. And I said, Mom, you did. And I look at my brother and my sister, and they're like, no, we never got beatings. I was there.
She never hit me.
Right. I was there. And as soon as my mother left the room, they whispered, I remember. It's like, it's like.
I mean, there are like gossip. They're saying that she had a sexual relationship with this person who was married. Okay. So this is the person who changed her mind. So that's what they're saying. I don't know the full truth, but that's what's been reported. So
when was the film? When was the docuseries? When did you start it and when did you finish it? Did you finish it? I'll jump right to the chase here. Did you finish it before the New York City mayoral race of last year?
Yeah, so I started the process. I made it first actually it was a feature documentary. So it was just interviewed the New Yorkers and I finished the interview. I recorded the interview. It was 3 months after he resigned. And in 6-7 months, pretty much, I finished the feature documentary and then I sent it to festivals. So I went to screenings and everything. So I got to hear what New Yorkers had to say about the movie. And then I decided that because they didn't have like all the archival footage part, then if you knew the story, that it would be easy to follow. But maybe if you didn't know the story, there was still so much that needed to be shared. So I decided to create this extra episode, the first episode that you see in the documentary with archival footage. And so that took like 3 extra years to create. So I finished pretty much right before around the time that he announced that he was running for mayor. So that's the last, pretty much when I finished it, and then I released it. It was a few days, like the week before the primary.
Now, I have a question for you. You're Italian?
I'm Italian, but I live in Los Angeles, so I'm not even a New Yorker.
So
don't you dare go with the gravy or sauce thing. I will jump.
So is it gravy or sauce?
It's sauce. So there's no gravy.
I was at a thing yesterday, an event where I played, and a very Italian gentleman. I said born in Italy. When I say very Italian, not New York Italian. And I asked him that question, and he was surprised. Like, why am I asking this? I said, because here people will go to war over sauce versus gravy. It's just crazy.
We don't have gravy in Italy.
Yeah. One lady said to me, if it's brown, it's gravy. If it's brown, it's gravy. If it's red, it's sauce. Well, what about Alfredo? That's white.
But Alfredo doesn't exist in Italy either. That's an American thing.
Ah, look at that. I did not know that, but I could have guessed that probably. I'm glad you gave me the context of when
Alfredo sauce is our Italian fortune cookie.
All right.
Yeah, I guess so.
The context of getting it done before the mayoral race is important, and I want to come back to that. But one of the bigger, broader things, issues with this is the way people are willing to frame it and not understand power dynamics. In other words, so he's accused of being a very powerful man, the governor of the state, and having this power over people who are subordinate to him, people who work for him, and then people who are inclined to say, well, look, she must be making it up because she's in a photo with him and she's smiling and she's hugging him and all that kind of stuff. Those are that's not necessarily indicative of him not being guilty of whatever she was accusing him of. That would be expected of somebody who was subordinate, like just smile and go along with it, right? Because of the power dynamic. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously we don't know the full story. Like, we don't know the background, and that's the problem. And that's where I have issues with the media, because obviously people just like fill the gaps with whatever their experience is, but we don't know what that specific experience was. So the person over there, then the question is, who decided to do the picture? Was Cuomo or was the accuser who decided to take the picture? So those details change the story. But if like we decide to ignore that, that's a different conversation we're having. Oh, there was another person that, like, one of the big accusers, she accused him of asking personal question. But the problem is it sounds like they were actually friends. And she's the one who started talking to him about her experiences. So if you are a friend, you are the one who told the person, I had these experiences. It's normal in that relationship that you ask questions. It's not the same thing as like you're like going to talk to someone at their cubicle and you start asking questions. It's a very different dynamic. So that's where the media needs to come in and ask the right question. That's where the Attorney General needs to come in and ask the right question. We, as audience, we cannot know the truth. We cannot know the backstory. So,
but since most of this took place in the court of public opinion as opposed to a court of law, there was, like I said, no decorum. There's no objection. I object. There's no arbitrator to go, this testimony is hearsay, this testimony is, for whatever reason. So a lot of this took place in the court of public opinion. Yeah. And in that case, it's whoever was loudest whoever was first set the narrative.
Yeah, and that's also like that's the problem, that in New York there is the impeachment. There is no recall system like in California when they had issues with Newsom because of COVID and everything. They still got to do a recall system, and people got to vote. But New Yorkers didn't have a chance to do that. And even that, you say everybody hated Cuomo, but if then would have been the choice between recalling Cuomo and adding Kathy Hochul, which one would you have voted for?
Right.
Yeah, because I remember, like, when I was traveling for festivals, I went to Western New York, very like rural areas, and very Trump supporter areas, and this was after he resigned, and everybody was complaining, well, I hated Cuomo, but this one is much worse. So then you also have to ask yourself that question: who comes after that?
Right. Well, Kathy Hochul came after that, and she's still governor. But
she got reelected. She got elected. So
yeah.
I mean, and with a very like low margin compared to how blue the state is. So we'll see this election how what's gonna happen, because like with the dynamic with Mamdani, obviously, and I've followed all the mayor election. I was there in New York multiple times. I was like watching the election, and so I got to see that firsthand. So I mean, Mamdani got 51% of the vote, so that's for New York City. That's not that much. So it's possible that those 49% of people, they might want to vote for Blakeman and instead of like Kathy Hochul, to keep a balance.
Yeah, but at least with in the New York election, though, I think usually they just have two candidates. Is it? And this time they had three. So.
Yeah, this was a weird election, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, because then Cuomo ran for independent. But even there, like people sometimes criticize Cuomo for running as independent, but the dynamic would have been pretty much the same, because even before the primary, the WFP, they said that they would have endorsed Mamdani anyway. So Mamdani would have been on the WFP, Working Family Party, in the November election, even if he didn't win for the primary.
Okay.
So
we didn't hear a lot about the Me Too scandal, whatever you want to call it, the inappropriate behavior. At least I don't remember hearing it. It was about policy and Mamdani's the way they positioned it as radical leftist versus Cuomo as a centrist leftist. So it feels like his reputation was somewhat rehabilitated, even though he didn't win the mayor race.
I don't know. I don't know, because like it like the people, like the Mamdani side, like he was doing a lot of like videos against him. There was that dream, don't rank evil Andrew for mayor. So there was that group that was like talking about the sexual harassment allegation. There was two of the accusers actually were campaigning with Mamdani, so to help him beat Cuomo, and one of them now he's also like running for city council. So that dynamic was there. Like during the debate, Mamdani actually brought one of the accuser, like not on the stage, but he mentioned her from the stage, and she was in the room, and you could see like Cuomo was like very uncomfortable by the fact that like he was bringing this up. So they've been using this against him. So I don't.
That's fair. I did not pay that close attention to it to that point, and I wasn't aware of that. But thanks for educating me on that. But we didn't hear about it like on the news. It wasn't It definitely wasn't like Twitter spheres kind of stuff though they were putting out. Oh, remember him, the abuser, the misogynist. I wasn't hearing a lot of that.
I don't think it helped Cuomo. Also, the fact that I guess the biggest endorsement was Donald Trump, who is a unregistered sex offender. And so when you have an unregistered sex offender endorsing you, and you have like sexual accusations against you, it's like we stick to our own kind. It's like it didn't help.
I mean, that technically he didn't endorse him. He said that he was like the least of the worst. So the media kept pushing that he was like endorsing Cuomo, but he didn't. Like he just made a comment saying that he would suggest people to vote for Cuomo rather than Mamdani, who is a socialist, obviously, and also like Cuomo got 75% of the Republican votes. So that helped get that kind of like that percentage of voters that otherwise probably he would not have gotten as much. So it's hard to say, but the problem is like the media keep pushing information in a very specific way, even that when you actually watch the video, when actually you read more about the story, it's not as extreme as it sounds like.
Well, I agree. Now, the only problem with Trump, because Trump has Trump speak, where he has soft endorsements, so that he can, like, literally he can endorse two candidates at the same time. Like in Arizona, he endorsed both candidates that were running against each other, and he threw a soft endorsement to Cuomo. But when Mondami won, is like, I love this guy. He knows how to. This is my guy. We can work together. So
that's ridiculous. Yes, but I think but that's Trump. Like he likes messing with people, so people don't know what to expect. So he can do anything because people are like over there always like, what does this mean? What does this mean? But then sometimes it doesn't mean anything.
He says everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
So that when he wants to justify something, he's like, I said I was against the feeding of baby sharks. I said that. Yeah. Oh, I said I want to endorse feeding baby sharks.
Right. The question I have for you is, what could the media have done that would have been perceived as fair? Because if they would have come out and been like hard questioning the accusers at that point, that feels like berating potential victims, and we don't want to encourage. We want to encourage women who have actually been the victims of sexual harassment to speak out about it. And if they come out and they are perceived as just bullying people and saying, well, suspecting them from the beginning, that doesn't seem fair. What in your mind how should the media have handled that on a large scale, the entire mainstream media?
Well, I think like we still need to be able to question accusations. Like I'm a woman, so obviously I want women to be believed. But the only way for the system to actually exist the long term is that we have the ability to ask questions, and that's about everything, not just about specific women. And if we cannot even ask the question that we have in our mind because we're afraid of victimizing women, we cannot keep a fair system anyway, and that's the problem. Like, asking questions should not be seen as victim shaming. It should be a different thing, separated. But I think also part of the problem is that I am not saying the media should cover more the issue. I think the media should have covered less the issue, because right now, like every second, there was like the media writing a new article. There was like breaking news, even if it was something small. They should have said, this is what he's been accused of. There are these accusations. There is an investigation going. We don't need to ask New Yorkers every second, do you want him to resign? As soon as like there was the second accusation, the politicians should not have like said, oh, well, there is a second accusation. We don't know anything about it, but he should resign just in case. The media should have, everybody should have waited for the investigation. Now, the investigation was biased. So even if that happened, probably things would have still happened in the same way. But even there, before people said, like even Biden said that he should resign because of what the report said. But people said that before even they had the chance to read the report. And it's 165 pages. So how many people really read the report? And that's the problem, because everybody wants to have like their opinion decided in 5 seconds. And that's the point that I'm trying to make with the documentary, is like you have to slow down and think with your head, and not just because someone is a politician, he's a horrible human being, someone is whatever, a woman must be the most beautiful person on earth. We need to be able to see and think with our head based on the situation, not what he must be guilty because Harvey Weinstein was guilty. That's not fair.
Right. And the first person
Harvey Weinstein wasn't just guilty, he was guilty and unattractive.
The first person to sue him on a federal level, the minute he resigned, they dropped the suit, right? So that makes it seem like that was the goal, not really to get justice for yourself. Mission accomplished. He resigned. Yes or no?
It wasn't when he resigned. Like there were different things. So the impeachment was dropped when he resigned, because obviously he was out of office, so they couldn't impeach him. The accusers, they sued him after he resigned. So, but there was one of these people that I'm saying that she was actually a friend with him. So she sued him, and that went for 2 years. And it was like a few days before she actually was supposed to depose, so she would be on the rolls answering question. She dropped the lawsuit right before she was supposed to be on the rolls. So that to me say, okay, and everybody keeps saying that he's wasting taxpayers' money, but she's suing him. Of course, he's gonna because he's a politician, taxpayer. It's like taxpayer funded the defense. So of course he's defending he's supposed to pay a settlement, and that's what I'm against. Like, if you think you're innocent, you should keep going and defend yourself. Not just say I'm innocent, but I'm gonna pay you just to make this quick. And so that's the situation. Like, and there are also, I'm not talking about specifically about these people, but I know even in Los Angeles there was this situation that the Los Angeles Times was reporting recently about apparently, because government they always want to settle, they're going to just pay whether the accusation are legit or not. So now we're encouraging a system where I just want to make this quick, I'm going to pay whether it's legit or not, and that's it. So they were reporting Los Angeles Times that apparently there was a law firm that looked like that from there were witnesses saying that they would just get random people to say this happened to me, and because the government just pays. So then these 2 people that actually sued him, and they got a settlement from New York State. So because they sued both Cuomo and New York State separately. So the lawsuit against Cuomo continue even if one of them settled with New York State, and so she got the money from them and then dropped the lawsuit. So that's where I think we need to question more women, because when we see this kind of behavior, that makes you question: are you doing it just for the money? So
I agree that people should not pay up until everybody's been deposed, everybody's been under oath, because people can say anything at all when they're not under oath. And then when they're asked specific questions under oath, they'll be like, well, technically I started the conversation, technically, and that makes a big difference.
I'm not sure there was a video that was they found this video of one of the accusers that was saying that she was almost crying because she felt she lost her friend, meaning Cuomo. So it's like, if you're talking that way about like you're losing a friend and you're sad that over this situation, that changes the whole dynamic. So
right.
Yeah. The point of, and this is a really weird point, but about people can say anything when they're not under oath if you have nothing to lose, if you're not rich, and because you can get sued for defamation if you have enough to lose, you just can't say anything. But
when I mean say anything on oath, I mean it doesn't have to be true.
Right, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be true if you're poor, but if you're rich and you can be sued for defamation, you can't say anything. Even if you're not under oath, you can't just come out and say, well, I know this guy did this or that, and it's completely a lie. You can get sued and lose everything you have. It's defamation.
Well, I'm referring more to legal consequences, like perjury and stuff like that.
Right. So,
under threat of perjury. I'm not thinking about some civil consequences and stuff like that. I just mean that you can lie and there's no legal consequences for perjury, but under oath people change their stories.
But
and also I think that's part of the problem too. Like when you're like in a lawsuit, you're deposed and everything, you have the opposition lawyer asking you the question. So the problem, like with the Attorney General report, okay, she reported on something, but what if she didn't ask the proper question? What if she didn't ask the follow-up question? And there is a problem. The person like that, he grabbed her breast, she still cannot figure out which date that happened, because they said this happened on this date, and then they said let's look at the report, the information, because this happened in the mansion, the governor's mansion. So there is a record on every person that enters. So the record was saying this person was not here this day, or this day he was busy doing back-to-back meetings, so it could not have happened. And so she kept changing the date, and there is still no, like, we still don't know which date that happened. And so that's the problem. If you keep changing the information, you keep changing everything, then how can we trust what you're saying?
Sunshine says, I love your compassion. I don't know who she's talking to, though.
She's talking to Sarah.
Okay, because I thought she was talking to you with the guy who kissed you on the lips.
No, that would be passion, not compassion.
Or whatever.
That's sarcastic or it's real? Because like
No, she's Sunshine is good people.
Have the accusers, have they kind of disappeared back into the woodwork now? Like they're this is over with and they have nothing left to say anymore. Like
No,
you would think.
That's the thing.
Go
They're
ahead.
still campaigning against Cuomo, and so there were two main people that they campaigned with Mamdani, and one of these people that she also at the time the first accuser she was running for Manhattan Borough President at the time that she made the accusation. So she was already running for office when she said that he had arrested her. So and now that Mamdani won, Cuomo didn't become mayor. Now she's running for city council.
Does that make the accusations more credible in your mind, or it's hard
Less
to play
credible.
play judge as a civilian here and not be on a jury. I mean, we're kind of judging this stuff without all the information that we would need to have to make a judgment on this. But I would think if somebody is that determined and to keep this up 5-6 years later, that adds credibility in my mind. Like I would have let it go once I got what I wanted, once I got my settlement or whatever happened.
Well, this person, she didn't sue him. So this person who is running for office, she didn't sue him. Even apparently she was the first one to accuse him, but she didn't do that. And there are reports, they're saying that apparently she was bullying people in office. So she didn't leave in the terms that like she's claiming she left. So apparently she was called out because there were accusations of her being a bully from other coworkers of her. So then the HR, the group talked to her, and then she quit. Then she wanted the job back, and then they didn't give the job back. And so 2 years later, whatever the timeline was, then she made the accusation against Cuomo, even though during COVID, she was actually saying good things about him. So there are all these weird dynamics of like behavior. So that she started saying that he arrested her when she was running for office. So she didn't get what she wanted yet, except Cuomo resigning, because now she's using Cuomo to run. So all her messaging in their campaign is, I stood up to Cuomo, I brought this down, I helped Mamdani get elected. So she's using that for her personal purpose.
It's definitely that aspect makes it feel a little opportunistic. Like, yeah, I'm just going to use this now. But that would be a long. Again, it's so presumptuous of me to say that would be a very long game plan. Now, like I'm going to accuse him of being inappropriate with me and use that 5 or 6 years down the road to run for office.
Well, she used it at the time when she was running for office because she said that. And so the other accusation came months later than she made that first accusation. So she was running for office at the time, and now there was an extra opportunity for her to run. So, yeah.
Yeah. How do you, because every human being, and I definitely include myself, and unfortunately I'm a human being, all of us have some bias on some things, and being aware of it is important. But as a filmmaker, a documentarian, how do you keep your own bias in check? What do you do to kind of remove any presumptions you might have, and just go into this as a fair documentarian?
I mean, I feel like I 90% of the people I know anyway have different opinions than me. So when I was doing the editing, I was always editing in the having mind of like the people that actually hated him and what they said. So I was always very focused on like, okay, showing what they know, but also showing the other side that they don't know. So especially when I was making the first episode with the archival footage, I was trying to show, of course, it's all through the media. So what most people got to see through the main media, but then there were like years later, there were also accusations like he won some lawsuits, and the main media was not reporting it at that point. So, and also because I live in Los Angeles, I can see what people understand of this situation compared to what New Yorkers know. And I also know a lot of people like that are Cuomo supporters, so then I can compare to that. But I also know some New Yorkers don't know as much detail about this story as much as like when someone that does the research. So I try to keep in mind and to show all these different sides. So yes, the interviews are more on the defending Cuomo in a way, but it's still a debate because there are people that are still saying, well, this that he did is wrong, and then someone else says it's actually human what he was doing. So to show that balance of people criticizing, but also through the media, the archival footage, those shows what was reported before, obviously.
Yeah. The power dynamic is just an interesting part of it because I like to think of it as what if he were working for the women that he supposedly like if they were the ones in power and he was a subordinate to them, would we think there was anything wrong with that? Because he's a single guy, you know, people are attracted to the opposite sex. They're gonna be a little flirtatious, right? So if somebody is above you in the food chain, it's okay, but if they're below you in the food chain, and I'm talking about the work food or power dynamic food chain, it's not okay, right?
I mean, that's the problem that I feel like it's easy when it's a woman accusing a man, but then when a woman like when it's a man saying that a woman did something that made him uncomfortable, that doesn't matter anymore. Like people don't give men the same due process in that sense. They don't believe it's like, oh, for you it's fine. Or you guys have done it for so long to all of us that now it's okay if we do it to you. And I struggle with that because I know a lot of women, and so sometimes I'm like, wait, isn't this like sexual harassment? Isn't this like objectifying a man? And they're like, oh well, whatever, they did it to us, we can do it to them. It's like that's not what building a fair society is about. It's if something is wrong when someone else is doing it, then it's wrong when you do it, and that's the problem that I have on so many spectrums of politics. So even if we're talking about gerrymandering, it's wrong when Trump does it, it's wrong when the Democrats do it. Right. So and that's I feel the problem a lot of in politics right now. It's like, oh, if they do it is wrong, but because we are doing it from a good place, then it's okay for us to do that. So that's where I have a problem.
And this was eight years ago. I was actually the event itself happened many years ago. But 8 years ago, I started a comedic movement called Me Also, because I didn't want to appropriate Me Too. And this is for men who were sexually harassed. Sorry.
What happened? He's dying. Bringing up bad memory. No, I'm
yeah.
He's having a traumatic episode. Are you all right, TJ?
Yes, I told you my sinuses, man. It's like dripping and flowing. My sinuses are attacking from two directions at once.
Before we move up, before you finish your point, Sarah, are you near South Laguna or Laguna Beach?
Yeah, I'm like Los Angeles.
Yeah, she's like almost 2 hours north of Laguna Beach.
Because CD is doing a show there tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, right?
I'm at Laguna Beach tomorrow night.
Anyway, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, I was just saying I just started this thing called Me Also. That of course I didn't expect it to get traction because I was doing it as a comedian. But yeah, it's because I was offered a gig from another guy, and part of the gig was to perform sexual favors to be on that tour.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously I didn't do it because y'all never heard of me before. So.
I was sexually harassed. I know it's people looking at me like, now you're making this up. When I was in my early 30s, the CEO of a company, oh, Matt, you got muscles. And then she started touching me inappropriately, and she reached her hand down my pants. This was the CEO of the company. And I, of course, I didn't report that. I mean, I just felt like it's I don't know. I would be perceived as weak. Like, what are you whining? You should be complimented by that. It's just a weird how the gender makes a difference in.
Yeah. I used to be a male stripper. Well, I'm still male, but I'm not a stripper anymore. But the things that the women would do to the men, and the men could not complain, except we would complain to each other. Like, it would go like, oh my God, she tried to take it home with her, stuff like that. And but if you called the police and said, excuse me, I was groped beyond belief in there. And they go, excuse me, you're being paid to take your clothes off, right? Well, yeah, but that's not the point, is it? And a woman grabbed you. Yeah, but that's not the point. It's like, get the fuck out of here. So so that's why I jokingly started Me Also.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, we're like always like listening to women, and we just take for granted that they're right and men are wrong. But this happened to men too, and men are not believed. There was a person who watched at the festival, watched the documentary, and first he was like, I don't know, like someone who's not a New Yorker making a New York documentary about New Yorkers. But by the end, he was like, thumbs up, because it's very like the people are very New Yorker, obviously, but. He was saying too that like at a certain one time, like he was on the street and this woman like went and grabbed him and like grabbed his penis, and so of course he pushed her away and he didn't report that. But this happened too, like women like going for guys and grabbing them and doing inappropriate stuff, and then men are not gonna complain. So yeah.
Well, I learned as a child not to complain about it, because the first time when it happened to me in school, I went to complain. The other guys are going like, "What, you some kind of sissy? That's what we want."
No. I want to kind of segue here. We'll just kind of make a tangent on this whole conversation about the media, because this is very much about the media treatment of stuff. And although it's perceived that Trump started the distrust of the media with fake news stuff, it's been building up for a long time. And so now here we are questioning everything the media does. Yesterday, I saw somebody say that, you know, more people trust truck stop sushi or gas station sushi than the media right now. That creates a really tough place, because we need a fourth state that we can trust somewhat. And so the repercussions of always constantly assuming the media is lying to us, that's not a good thing, right?
It's not, and that's where like even the media needs some accountability. It cannot be just like, oh, because you're the media, you should be allowed to do everything. And there need to be more checks and balances for everybody. And it's the way the media reports sometimes. It's also very emotional, like, and it bothers me. Also, I'm an immigrant, so every time I hear how they're covering immigration, and it starts always like, oh, this person was traumatized, like just report the story. Don't try to feed information like emotion into me, telling me how I'm supposed to feel with something that of course it's not media information that someone was traumatized. You're just trying to manipulate how I feel. And I feel like we need the media more than before, because now with AI, like even on social media now, you watch a video, you cannot trust anymore if the video is true or not. So we need someone like the media that when they are reporting, you hope that they're actually checking to make sure that something is true. So right now, I'm social media, I stop believing any video that I saw for any, like, unless I know the source that they're actually, like, even when they go and interview people, because like when you interview people on the street, and it's interesting to hear what people are saying, but now sometimes those videos are fake, so you don't know if the people are saying that or not. So, and of course there is the problem even when the media goes, and they were talking about at the time 70% of New Yorkers wanted Cuomo to resign, and they're obviously just showing a pool of people that wanted him to resign, obviously. So we need to have a system in place too. So
is this distrust of the media, obviously it's not uniquely American, but is it more pronounced in America than it would be like in Europe or any other place in the world?
It's hard to say, because like in Italy, like people complain about the media not being free at all. So there are like in those lists, like where you are, like sometimes they say like Italy is worse than Uganda for like media freedom. But so I try to listen to a wide spectrum of media. Like I listen to like people that are like on the right, what they say, the left, just to get a balance. Because sometimes stories are not covered from the left media, sometimes they're overly covered from the right media. So you have to kind of like listen to a little of everybody, and internationally too, where there is that less of that emotional baggage that you would have here that might influence a story. But I think it's bad everywhere, and the fact that like the media it's the most important thing, then no one, the same thing that you say, you don't want to question women when they make accusation because that sounds like victim shaming. Okay, now if you want to keep someone from the media accountable for something they're doing, you cannot, because people are gonna think like, okay, this is fascism, that you're like, just because someone is criticizing you or whatever. It's happening with Don Lemon. So there is need to be a system in place where like you should be able to question, and then the system is in place so everybody gets their due process. So okay, even if Trump say, okay, Don Lemon should go to jail, okay, there should be a system, he can defend himself, and then if actually what he was doing was really part of that FACE Act and everything, then he should be held accountable, not just like be giving a pass just because he's a journalist.
I don't disagree at all with what you said, but I'm wondering what that looks like, because you don't want maybe you do. I don't know how does that system of accountability and keeping the media in check, where does that come from? The government, or, people don't seem, everyday people don't seem to even have the ambition to, they're just sick of it, or they want to just tune into whatever feeds their bias. So do you have any idea what that system of accountability for the media would look like, or where it would come from?
Yeah, that's the question I've been asking myself too. Like, how do you fix a problem without risking to go too much on one side or the other side? Like,
yeah,
because it could start with the journalists, but maybe the journalists are reporting properly story, and then because who owns the newspaper, the advertisers, then the story changes. So maybe it's more the editors the problem. So yeah, we need to understand where is the problem, and it's a cultural issue too, because generation like mine, everybody is more, everything is more emotional in a way than it used to be. So, and people are rewarding certain behavior because they know what the audience wants. They want emotion. It's the problem of social media, obviously, that culture of outrage, the algorithm fits into that. So then the whole system is going to offer what people feels like people want. So I think it starts with us. It started with ourselves, and not being able, not allowing our emotion to be dictated based on whatever the media says, and to be able to have this conversation and to ask questions and question if we are biased, because yes, the same thing. Am I not seeing certain parts of the story of Cuomo because obviously I have done this project and I care about that story, and but I need to continue asking myself question and be allowed to speak to other people who have different opinion from me. And right now we're at the time where people are not willing to listen to what others have to say, because they want to be in their own echo chamber. And so that's the problem. I think it starts with us.
Now, I'm thinking, as far as accountability goes, like the lawyers have the ABA, the American Bar Association. Doctors have the AMA, the American Morons. I can't remember what the M is for. Medical Associate, yeah. But the point is, I don't know if there's a national organization for journalists. But the AMA and the ABA, it is in their best interest to keep only the best people representing them. Mm-hmm. And so if there's such a thing for journalism, maybe if there's a national journalist thing, they would be the ones responsible to making sure that those people who want to be called journalists maintain journalistic integrity.
Yeah. So in Italy there is, and that's where I think could be part of the conversation. In Italy there is an association. So if you want to be a professional journalist, you have to pass like a bar, like the same. It's a very tough exam that is very difficult to pass, and so you have to get the certification. You can still do freelance, like random, like amateur. Like if you're an amateur, you can still write op-ed.
Right, but you're not a journalist. You can't use the word. It's like I could give advice on vitamins, but I can't say I'm a doctor, because
you can say you're a journalist, and everybody is, and therein lies.
What I'm saying is, if there's just like I said, it's against the law to fake being a medical doctor.
Right.
You can't you can't fake being an attorney and go into court. You know, if you tell them I want to represent myself, I'm not an attorney, they will say, okay, then we will have this person beside you pro se.
That's a slippery slope, though. Licensing journalism by the state, then the state is controlling.
No, not the state. I'm saying I'm saying another journalism. They set up their standards. Says this is what it means to be a journalist.
But that so the American Medical Association does not. They don't enforce you have to have a medical license to perform medical. They just keep people honest and peer review stuff and that kind of stuff. But so anybody can really call themselves a journalist, and in this world, that's pretty much, unless you have the state regulating that, like even an association of American Association of Journalists, they can say, well, this person's not an accredited journalist, or we can peer review them, but they can still, unless you outlaw that. Then,
like you can still like practice, like even in Italy, like, okay, if you're a journal, like a professional, that's what you do in your life. It's different than if you have your own Substack, for example, or if you have your own YouTube, like Nick Shirley. He can be considered a journalist, but he's a YouTuber. So obviously, and it's a very different system. So he could be still practicing whatever he's doing. He would not be able to be a regular like staff in a newspaper if there was a license. But anyway, anyone can get that license. So if that's what you do with your own life, you can always get it. You just have to pass a very difficult exam. So and they can revoke it for you. I was hearing the story about this guy who apparently had it. He lives in New York, but apparently because he hasn't written and his whatever behavior he's been doing on social media, then they revoked him because anyway he's not even practicing. So they can still take it away from you if you don't follow like the guidelines. So
so for example, I'm just saying that so if we set up something like that in the US, and once you became a professional journalist, you would have, let's say, 3 letters that could go after your name, like a title. So it'd be like GD Fenderson, PJA or something, Professional Journalism Association or something like that.
Right.
And if somebody, let's say, puts that behind their name, but they're not, then there's legal repercussions for that.
Right.
And I think the problem is like, then does it become an extra gatekeeper where only certain truths are acceptable? Because even now you see like how I read a lot of the free press and how much the free press has been trashed by other journalists just because they are reporting on certain things. So that's the question. Is that organization, is it going to be unbiased or is it going to be their own bias and then just say, okay, this is acceptable and this is not, just because you're doing different than the group think? So
well, it's hard to get rid of the bias per se because we have our own lenses. Even if we try to be like I try to be just passionate about certain stories, but yesterday I was shown a picture of two women, and my immediate response was, that's not the same person. But that was without doing any kind of research or anything else. That was like my gut reaction. Now, upon further examination, I said, okay, when I take other things into account, they could be the same person.
Let me frame this in my perspective, because I think GD has the same bias that I do, which is wanting to reject or dismiss ridiculous conspiracy theories that people will just throw stuff up without evidence. So I phrase this to him as, this is a conspiracy theory. I brought up 2 people who didn't look similar, and his immediate reaction was, they are not the same person. And he was very assertive about that. Then when I explained that the person on the right is claiming to be, is with Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way. And the person on the right is claiming to be in prison at Ghislaine Maxwell and is sitting in her prison cell. He said, well, I don't know that that's true. Then I showed him that this was true. This is the person who testified in front of Comey. Then that, the conspiracy theory is that I'm going to look for ways to say, well, maybe it could be that person. So after being very assertive, those aren't the same person. When you realize the conspiracy theory is that she's claiming to be that person, well, this is how that could happen. The nose could get fatter, the chin could flatten out.
But the main thing for that was that my first reaction was without any of my own research. or any. It was just I was shown a picture and it was a gut reaction.
You weren't just
If I
shown
were,
picture. You were told there's a conspiracy theory
but
here.
what I'm saying is, if I were to actually report, or if I were doing the story myself and I had the two pictures, I would have done more research before then, and I would have had more forethought. I would have had the more information, and I would have had a totally different response as opposed to this, than the gut reaction. And that's what I'm talking about, the biases. I know I have biases. So when I do a story, I try to compensate and recognize the biases and go beyond what my actual bias is.
Understood. I think I think I share the same biases. Like whenever I hear something's a conspiracy theory, my initial thing is to want to just say, well, this is just nonsense. This is somebody who, and clearly none of the conspiracy theories about that particular thing make any sense at all. But that's a big problem with bias is, even though we're aware of them, we could still fall into the traps of wanting to follow our bias.
But that's what I said. So if you have a bias, that's what. So the point I was trying to make is, if we all have a bias. So if we're trained to look beyond the bias, trained to recognize and look beyond the bias, and that helps somewhat. And even if it's just as simple as saying, before I start the story, like, I have a bias. My mother was a woman, and so I was raised by a single mom. So I see the world through the lens of a child raised by a single mom.
See, my mother was a guy.
Well, I'm just saying, and then knowing that, when I go to stories, because I have a tendency to look at women as figures of authority because I was raised by a single mom. So things being equal, if a woman says the same thing as a guy, and the guy and the woman have the same credentials, I'm more likely to believe the woman because of the way I was raised. But I know that about myself. Some people don't know that about themselves, and so they won't go, okay, well, let me look into what the guy is actually saying then.
Yeah,
it won't take the extra
we're getting
step.
sidetracked here. But this is what NewYorkersSay.com is, where the film is. Before we wrap this up, I just want personal price to you, or I mean, not necessarily price, but have you got a lot of reaction? And I'm just thinking attacks, and the way social media is, and where when you're on the internet at all, you subject yourself to a lot of nasty reaction to this. What has been the reaction since the docuseries has been out? Has it been mostly positive? Have you heard a lot of really angry, negative people? What's it been?
No, I mean, right now I'm not even that much on social media. They still cannot find me much. Also, it's very hard because I'm an immigrant, so it's very hard to promote it through social media platforms, because being someone with a visa, I cannot even pay money to actually promote my series because it's political content. And when also that's the situation, and very often the social media platform, they kind of the algorithm kind of hides your stuff. So it's a different.
But I can promote it, right? I don't.
Organically, I can promote it too. But if I wanted to even get more eyes on it and pay, how you get an ad to show a video on YouTube, I cannot do that because it might be considered electioneering. It's just because that platform like YouTube are very strict. Even if no one is running for election, if you just name a politician, even if it was out of office from years ago, then you need to say you're a U.S. citizen or someone with a green card to be able to promote that. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's very strict, and every platform is different. So that's where I'm going more to talk to people directly, also on on podcasts and that.
You can come back. I can't speak for Matt, but I'm going to. You can come back here anytime.
Not anytime. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's a bad day. But you're not going to be here tomorrow anyway.
No, but that's true.
So anytime is but yes, you are definitely welcome back whenever there's an open slot. It's very compelling. Yeah. I'm glad you made the film. It compels a lot of conversation, and I hope. I'm not sure there's a resolution that will make us a better society, but it's important to talk about and think about what the solutions to these things are. But I got to tell you, after watching the 5 episodes and now speaking to you, I'm more confused about where we go from here than I was before.
Yeah, I always say I don't have answers, but I have a lot of questions, and I think we need to continue asking questions and to hear what other people have to say, and maybe from there we can get to a point. Because yeah, there is so much work needs to be done. It's exciting that there is work, that we're doing work, but yes, I don't know if I have an answer either.
Yeah. One last thing before we go. Heavy Kev, who's from New Zealand, he says, "Does anyone care what city we're from? We're from Earth." I think that totally is off the point here. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't matter that he's from New York. It just happens that this story happened in New York, and you wanted to get the flavor of the locals' opinions of what goes on because they were the ones who either wanted him to resign or not.
I thought he was referring to back when Sarah says, "I'm from Italy, but I'm in Los Angeles."
Oh,
that's
no,
right. So that's what I think.
I'm completely off base.
That's only because that's when the comment popped up a few seconds after she had said that.
Oh,
and I was thinking
the title of the film of the docuseries is "This Is What New Yorkers Say," and that's what.
It's true.
That's what I was presuming. So I could be wrong on that.
Well, we both could be wrong.
Yes. Well, everybody could be wrong.
He could just have Tourette, so that's what he typed.
The entire planet could be wrong about everything.
Yeah. I mean, and this is a story that like these topics that are in the documentary, they matter to anyone in this country because it's not specific about this situation. But I wanted to make a point of hearing directly from local people, like everyday New Yorker, because even on the media, you always hear from a certain type of people what they think. And I just wanted to hear people in this. I traveled around the state. So these are interviews done in Albany, Long Island, New York City, Rochester. So just to get the spectrum of like different communities, different people.
Yeah. I wonder if the last thing I can get you to comment on is this. In order for you to get more eyes on this film, and I do think it's an important film and it raises very important questions, compelling conversation. In order for you to get more eyes on the film, you have to use the media, and in some ways, the media anybody in media should be defensive about this. So that makes it really difficult, right?
Yeah. I tried to reach out to the media a couple of times, but yeah, it's difficult because again, they're like and especially because the media is so focused on whatever it's matter in this news cycle in the present week. So this is accusation that, as you said, maybe they're not that prominent even now, even when he was running for office. So because it wasn't the story of the week. So obviously, going in through the media, like this is media too. At the end of the day, like now podcasts are a great place, and also because the documentary is really to spark conversation. So the podcasts are the best space for that. So we can talk about all topics.
Yeah, well, I will do my best to get the word out to as many people as I can within, I'm big in following a lot of political podcasters, live streamers, and this kind of thing, and get them to notice the film, the docuseries, and take note of it and watch it and comment on it. So maybe we can help you get some traction. I really appreciate you being part of the program, and we'll do what we can. That's all we can promise you. Thanks. Please do come back to any time. I mean, I think we just scratched the surface here on this whole.
Next time we can talk about Mamdani.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I have a lot of criticism there.
All right, enjoy the warm weather, and if you're so inclined, go see GD tomorrow in Laguna Beach, right?
Anyway. It's probably far from me. I don't have a car, so it's far.
Yeah, it is. And
I'll come pick you up and bring Alfredo sauce. All right, thanks for being here. Have a great day, and thanks. Right. Bye for now.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Come on, one more time.
What?
I got Sarah Alessandrini. Why is that difficult for me to say? I'm Italian. I should be able to say Alessandrini, right?
Because you're a self-hating Italian. No, I'm just teasing.
I'm self-hating. Well, I am self-loathing, but I don't think for the Italian part. I just think me, I'm just a loathable. Is that a word?
A loathe of self. Yeah.
Yeah. Julia, you really can't. Julia Lindenthal, don't bother rescheduling one more time, please. I mean, They say 3 strikes you're out, but I think on Coffee with the Dog, I think the rule is 2 strikes you're out, right?
It's like softball, 2 strikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like slow pitch softball.
My mouse is all on the wrong screen. Get over here on the right screen, damn it. Oh, here we are. All right. Yeah. So go get ready for your show. Get ready for your show, Pat, and then get ready to travel, and so I guess I'll see you Monday or something, right? Or will I not see you Monday? You'll still be traveling.
I'm gonna try to be there Monday. It just means I have to be up at 5 so I can get ready at 5 so I can be on the air at 6.
Jeff Altman.
I did it in Alaska, but I just didn't have the bandwidth. But I was available for the show in Alaska.
I didn't remember.
I just didn't have the bandwidth. I just couldn't stay there.
So Monday, Jeff Altman will be here, and that'd be a shame if you don't get to tell Jeff Altman he reminds you of Larry Miller, or Larry Miller reminds you of him, or whatever that was.
Well, they were popular at the same time at least in my circle.
Yeah.
And so I was getting their material mixed up. I was seeing them both at the same time. So
tomorrow, GD will be in transit. He will be on the plane, hopefully not crashing. I don't want to be like a Waylon Jennings guy. Tomorrow, Holly Gutwillinger, who GD invited back to the program, will be here to talk to me alone, which will probably be disappointed because GD's the one who invited her back. And Josie McCade, 2 authors, will be back with us.
Who is that? I need to look at that picture now.
Yeah, me too. I need to look at pictures the rest of the day. Oh, what am I doing? Do you see what I'm doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Yeah, I don't know. People weren't especially on the radio. It didn't seem like, and the video part, didn't seem like people were compelled by that conversation. I think it's really.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. But I don't. To me, it's very confusing. Like it seems like a problem without a solution. But we can keep asking questions. But where we end up finding maybe we're just doomed in an Orwellian dystopia. And maybe that's the bottom line here. Anyway, I got to go. I have this sense of impending doom. Going to City Field, Seaver Way, to help 100 people paint a ballpark picture, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah, are you excited for me? Are you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So while you're up on the plane, then last time I was on a plane anyway, you plug the thing in and they had like stations you could listen to. You just plug your headphones in, so they don't have this to turn on this radio on the plane, so you won't even be able to hear the.
I'll have my laptop out working on my material, reading over it, or sleeping, or both.
So you'll be doing your homework and rehearsing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to the other people, don't forget to
walk around nappy.
I
listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.